B, me name's Kyle now, 31, client relations guy at some mid-tier shipping company called Blue Route Logistics Office, stuck on second floor, right above a loud warehouse that never shuts up. Days are mostly juggling delivery timelines, soothing online shop owners, losing their minds over late packages, and gently smacking printers like they're misbehaving pets, so they don't jam company vibe. Pretty average, hit your numbers, don't yell at warehouse guys. Grab cheap beer on Fridays in the break room. HR is one ancient dude who only exists to run payroll, basically a ghost. Then one random Tuesday calendar drops an all-hands meeting. Welcome our new head of inclusion and voice alignment. Title already smells like corporate TED Talk sludge. We all squeeze into the training room, stale donuts, burnt coffee, projector buzzing like it's dying. Screen shows soft pastel slides saying, "A new era of listening." CEO walks in with this woman, early 30s, maybe blazer, black turtleneck. Serious glasses face like she's about to confiscate your personality. Lanyard pins read, "Let women speak," and "Patriarchy equals mute button." Little enamel megaphone hanging there like a warning sign. She gets introduced as Allison Reed, background in feminist communication systems and voice equity strategy, phrases that sound expensive and dangerous. She smiles, slowly scans the room, like TSA looking for hidden sexism. Voice is calm, but there's an edge under it. Starts talking about meetings where women get cut off group chats, where men dominate emails, where a woman says something and it only matters when a guy repeats it. Compares it to centuries of stolen airtime. Says our company is about to become a pilot program for true voice fairness in logistics. Final slide pops up, Voice Balance Initiative. Subtitle basically says, if men hog conversations for 2,000 years, they can chill for a bit. Some women clap, others look unsure. Guys shift around awkwardly. One warehouse dude mutters, "We're cooked," into his donut. Later that same day, first email hits inbox. Subject, Phase 1, interruptions and airtime tracking. They install a plugin into our meeting software. Voice meter tracks who talks, how long, who cuts people off. Sends weekly reports straight to HR. Men get dashboards with angry red bars showing over-talking women, only see green stats encouraging them to speak more. No penalties on their side. Allison writes, "This isn't punishment. It's awareness," then immediately mentions its coaching sessions. For men with too much red, first week is actually kind of funny. Graphs shows sales guy, Brandon, talking through half of every meeting. Allison posts an anonymized chart, calling it a textbook dominance pattern. Brandon gets called into HR, comes back looking like he saw a ghost. Starts talking super slow and careful, like someone learning manual transmission for the first time. Meanwhile, I'm counting words in my head. Every time I open my mouth, cut my jokes in half. End sentences early, so my red bar doesn't spike. Couple weeks later, Phase 2. Drops email titled, "Structured Round Robin." Ending default, male first responses. New rule says, in any mixed meeting, women have to speak first. At least 3 contributions before any guy can answer. Also, if a client asks something and a man blurts out the answer too fast, Voice meter flags it as a priority violation. Report goes straight to HR meetings, turn into this weird slow-motion dance. Everyone's staring at the women, waiting for someone to go first. While they're clearly scrambling through notes, some start every response with, "I'm not totally sure, but," then glance at us for the real details. After hitting their quota, CEO absolutely loves it. Keeps showing slides about female participation, up like 60%. Sends emails to investors bragging, "We're leading the industry into post-patriarch communication models." Day-to-day still kinda works, mostly because we cheat, whisper answers before meetings, send quick DMs with info. Allison notices, sends another email. Back-channel coaching undermines women's growth. Tells us to sit with the discomfort of not jumping in. Some guys joke in a private chat that we're running a shadow government of actual answers, but nobody says it out loud. Then Phase 3 hits, one Monday morning. Subject, consent-based communication, protecting women from unplanned demands. New rule says men can't just message, call, or walk up to women with work questions anymore. We have to send a request to engage through Voice meter. First they can accept, decline, or suggest a later time. No response equals no answer. And if you follow up too soon, it counts as pressure for me, whose entire job is chasing updates from like 4 teams, so shipments don't explode. This feels like someone just slashed my tires. First week, productivity drops. Hard stuff just sits there. Requests pending while people are in meetings, on lunch, or just ignoring the app. Emails start getting padded with respond. If you have bandwidth, no pressure. Deadlines start sliding everywhere, like boxes on a wet floor. Annoying but still manageable until Allison rolls out Phase 4, company-wide announcement. Bright banner, confetti emojis everywhere. Men Listen Mondays. Starting next month, every Monday is centered on women's voices. Rules say men in mixed meetings can't speak unless directly invited by a woman, and even then, max 30 seconds questions from men to women basically discouraged entirely on Mondays. Save it for another day, unless it's legal or safety. We can type in chat or whisper to other guys or slide notes across the table, but microphones stay off by default. Jenna calls it radical rest for women's nervous systems, says it's also practice for men to sit in silence while others lead. One warehouse guy asks if that means we can't yell "heads up" when a pallet tips over. She gives a tight, polite laugh. Says, obviously physical safety isn't what this is about. Later, ops manager pulls me aside by the loading dock. Says this whole thing is nuts, but the CEO is eating it up. Tells me we'll just have to survive. Mondays somehow. Fast forward about 2 weeks. Huge client, Mountain Ridge. Apparel drops an emergency meeting on the calendar, scheduled for Monday. Of course, they're an outdoor clothing brand. Half their orders run through our warehouses. Their COO, Dana, looks like she could deadlift a motorcycle, one of the only clients I actually respect. No fluff, no buzzwords, just, is my shipment moving or do I find someone else? They had a customs mess at the port. Last week, some new declaration form. Screwed up SKU codes. Container sat there for 3 days, stacking fees. We spent the whole weekend untangling it, working with a broker, fixing how data feeds into forms, all the real details, mostly living in my head. At this point, calendar invite shows, Jenna added herself as observer. Note at the top, says, men listen. Monday, please model policy proudly. I message my manager, tell him this is a full-on emergency with a multi-million account. Ask if we can pause the rule for like an hour. He replies, he already tried. Jenna said tense. Moments are when equity habits matter. Most, then CC'd. The CEO, responds with a thumbs up, emoji like a nervous intern. Monday morning hits, join the call, big grid of faces. Mountain Ridge side has Dana, their logistics lead, and some lawyer-looking guy with zero expression. Our side has CEO, Jenna, me, plus customs and billing. People my mic icon already disabled. Jenna starts the call. Explains men listen. Monday to the client calls it living our values in real time. Dana's eyebrows shoot up halfway to her hairline. She says, I'm here because my inventory is stuck, not to join a workshop. CEO gives this awkward laugh, says our team has everything covered. We'll walk through solutions led by our women. Experts plan. Apparently is junior analyst Katie. Runs the whole thing reading notes. I typed it like 1 a.m. Dana asks first question, how many containers are delayed and what's the exact fix? So this doesn't happen again. Next month, Katie starts, okay, reads numbers off the slide, then gets shaky. When Dana asks how that splits between East and West Coast ports, I instinctively try to jump in, click unmute, blocked instantly. Little red pop-up says, male participant speaking out of order. Jenna chimes in, all cheerful, Kyle has great insight. But we're passing the mic today. Katie, go ahead. Katie's eyes go wide. She looks at me like I'm a life raft. I start typing in chat as fast as possible. She tries to rephrase it out loud. Gets some details wrong. Lawyer guy starts scribbling notes like, crazy? Dana's tone drops a few degrees colder. Next half hour feels like watching a crash in slow motion. Every technical question they ask, Katie looks at me like she's drowning. I dump full explanations into chat. She condenses them into nervous fragments, mixes up, which forms apply to which shipment forgets key qualifiers. At one point, Dana says directly, Kyle, you've been emailing my team. Can you confirm what you said last night about penalty waivers? I try again to speak. Jenna cuts in, reminds everyone we're honoring. The policy says Katie should respond first, and I can add, if absolutely necessary. Dana leans toward the camera, says, I didn't ask for your program. I asked the person who wrote the plan. CEO just sits there, looks like a guy watching his house burn while someone explains recycling rules. Eventually, I get allowed a 30-second add-on, barely squeeze in the key detail, about the broker agreement timer starts flashing yellow. Immediately, Dana ends the call. Early says they'll review internally and decide next steps. Lawyer guy thanks us in that tone that means we're calling your competitor. Call. Ends dead silence on our side, just air vents humming, and me grinding my teeth about 30 minutes later. CEO messages, me asks for an honest breakdown. I send bullet points. Everything that got missed, misphrased, or half-answered includes screenshots of the system blocking my mic. That afternoon email comes in from Mountain Ridge. Subject, Service and Governance Concerns, 3 full pages of very polite anger. They complain about communication restrictions, stopping experts from speaking directly, call out the equity policy as a risk to their operations. Specifically mention the moment their lawyer asked me something and I couldn't fully answer. Say it seriously, damages their confidence in us during crises. Also point out a pattern of slower responses lately, because our consent system delays basic information flow. Their team says, this kind of thing has been happening every week now. Last line hits like a brick. We're reviewing other providers and pausing any expansion until governance issues are fixed. CEO fires back 15 minutes later, all caps email to leadership, we cannot lose this client. Emergency meeting set for 8 a.m. next morning, walk into conference room, feels like a funeral for someone who's technically still breathing, projector showing Mountain Ridge's email. Certain lines highlighted in red like a crime scene. CEO turns to Alice and asks her to explain how Men Listen Monday was supposed to help, not wreck. Emergency handling his voice thin as paper, she launches into a speech, short-term discomfort versus long-term cultural repair. Says the client email is dripping with internalized bias. Legal counsel clears his throat, points out the client. Specifically complained about being blocked from talking to me because of a gender-based restriction. Not because women were speaking more uses, phrase viewpoint discrimination mechanism, talks about how regulators or courts might see a policy that literally mutes one group. On certain days, Allison pushes back, says men still had chat and side channels, claims the client insisting on hearing me, shows reliance on male voices. My manager gets asked to explain operational impact. He lays it out, delays from consent, requests time wasted managing voice meter, warnings instead of actual shipments. Then they ask me to speak. I keep it simple. Say during the call, I had full answers, but the system blocked me when the client directly asked. And you could see the frustration immediately pull up. Screenshot little pop-up over my mic saying, male speech limit reach for equity day. Room collectively inhales, legal guy, almost chokes, asks when that feature even got added. Allison says proudly, it was part of phase 4 to stop men from unconsciously slipping back into dominant patterns. Then a new square lights up on the Zoom screen. Investor rep dialing in. Older woman named Karen, owns a big chunk of the company, hasn't said a word. Until now she speaks calm and slow. Says she fought her way into rooms full of men to talk numbers. Not to build software that silences people based on sex. Goes on about how Dana from Mountain Ridge isn't some victim she can handle being interrupted. What she actually wants is competence and straight answers. CEO just stares at the email, then the screenshot. Then Allison, like he's realizing he made a terrible decision, and it's permanent. Asks her directly if any of this got legal review. Before rollout, she gives a long answer about law lagging behind justice. Eventually boils down to no. But she felt urgency legal counsel mutters something about discoverable evidence and deliberate discrimination, while scribbling notes, room suddenly allergic to eye contact. Meeting wraps with CEO, announcing immediate suspension of all program phases, says an outside firm will audit policies, also says we'll send an apology to Mountain Ridge. Then he thanks Allison for raising important conversations, and immediately follows it with her role being terminated. Effective now, reason, unauthorized high-risk operational changes. She looks stunned, says this proves everything. Men punishing women for demanding space, calls the client. Email. A tantrum from threatened patriarchy. Karen just calmly replies, patriarchy helped fund your salary. And it's run by two women over there who think you're incompetent. HR rep. Quietly escorts Allison out. She's carrying a tote bag full of Let Women Speak notebooks and a sad little office plant that did nothing wrong next week. Voice meter, plug-in, disappears overnight. No announcement, just gone. Monday rules vanish too. Men's mics suddenly work every day again. Consent. Requests drop back to normal, back to, hey, got a minute? Messages, fewer hoops, more actual answers. Deadlines stop dying every Monday. CEO. And our team get back on call with Mountain Ridge. This time, Dana and I talk directly for a full hour. No timers, no scripts, just blunt honesty. We admit what went wrong, walk through a real fixed plan built without any culture. Experiments. Dana eventually agrees to keep most of their freight with us. As long as we keep therapy out of logistics office, slowly exhales, jokes start coming back. Still some trust issues with leadership, but at least nobody's counting how long we talk anymore. Few months later, home after a long day scrolling, my phone half-dead stumble across a Medium article shared in some Women in Leadership group, title in all caps. Energy, I was fired for giving women the floor. Subtitle basically, How Men Panic When You Mute Them for One Day author. Photo. Yep, Allison, same glasses, soft lighting, latte art in the corner, caption about paying the price for speaking truth. She describes our company as a hostile male warehouse culture, claims men listen. Monday was just asking men to be quiet for a moment, says the big client left, because fragile executives couldn't handle change. No mention of broken shipments, no mention of the mute block comment section, full of people calling her brave, asking for her tools, offering intros to progressive CEOs. I close the tab. Sit there for a second, then open anonymous forum, new thread button, glowing like a big red panic switch cursor, blinking start typing, be me, logistics guy, who just wanted to move boxes and somehow ended up watching software mute him in front of a multi-million-dollar client figure. The internet might as well hear it from the guy on the wrong side of the mute button.